Nobody Named Kevin podcast episode 19. Is anybody in the room named Kevin?
I think we're pleading the fifth on that one.
Are we going silent or are you saying something? Okay.
No, I think we're going with the pleading the fifth. We're gonna use that right.
Hey, if you like it, comment, subscribe, and yeah. So, what's up?
I don't know, bro. What y'all been up to?
Dude, so I need to plug this real quick so they know I'm using my gift. So, but what my coworker put me onto is lemon water from Sonic. It is, respectfully, bussin'. Because, it's everyone said lemon water, I know. But the way that ice packs in a Route 44, and if you go to your average Sonic, they'll put a whole ass lemon in that drink. And it being 90 degrees outside and that foam insulation, dude, it just hits through your throat and it feels it's so good.
I don't think at that point it's the lemon water. At that point it's just the ice that seems so good.
The
Sonic
lemon
water
gives
is
it the
amazing.
flavor.
Yeah, but don't get me wrong. But
it
you could make it yourself at home. You could use a full lemon, add it into the water. But your apprehension is
same,
bro.
I
won't have the ice. So it's dude, you're complimenting the ice right now. Because don't get me wrong.
No.
Sonic.
It's everything. It's the insulation of the foam cup and the Sonic ice and a whole ass fresh lemon. It's not as simple as just fucking whip it up. It's different.
Oh, God,
it's different.
Wait till you discover cucumber water.
I've had that.
Dude,
I used to drink that.
Sonic water is
it makes
good.
every day. It makes every day feel like you're in a hotel. I've had cucumber water, but that's the other thing. What flavors your water? Because my tap water has a sting. Distilled water has a certain twang.
Aren't you not
Starbucks
supposed to
water.
drink distilled water?
What?
No, yeah, you are.
You can drink distilled water.
I thought you weren't supposed to because you don't get vitamins and minerals out of it because it's distilled. You don't really get much benefit from it.
Pretty sure.
I swear I've read this.
Myself.
I'm sure that you're able to drink it. I don't have a problem with your ability to do it, but I thought the whole point of distilled water is it's actually not that great for you to drink it distilled because it pulls all those minerals out.
I think also the thing is it's still better than tap because you have chlorine and Xanax all in the water system that people have just you have all sorts of stuff in there.
Dude,
Clayton's right. I'm looking at it right now. So purified water. So it says distilled water is a type of purified water that has had both contaminants and minerals removed. Purified water has had chemicals and contaminants removed, but still contains minerals.
Yeah. You're able to drink distilled, but the whole point of why most water is really good for you is the minerals. The minerals are good for you. It's part of your daily intake.
Yeah, it says it's safe to drink distilled water. It's just one is better. I don't know.
It's
one's
one's
the
better
pH.
than the other.
When people argue the pH level, they're like, "This is the perfect water." You know what I'm saying?
Dude. Well, I'm thinking okay, it's hard enough to get people to drink water, and they start drinking water, and you're like, but wait, you're still wrong. What?
Yeah.
It's not I'm not even saying you're still wrong, but
I'm just saying you can't drink
people in general.
I imagine that if it's not that you can't drink it, it's just probably I don't think the average. Because neither one of y'all knew. I don't think the average person is thinking man, distilled water is really bad for you. I remember seeing those headlines. I think the only people who know this, who are just weird enough to look it up. I'll straight up say I'm weird enough. I remember seeing.
I don't know. Is it
That's you saying that? Literally, I'm this is a Reddit fact pop up.
I could see that. It's a dumb
online.
Yeah, it's a weird thing, but it's I don't think it's it's not bad for you. I still think drinking it's bad better than not drinking any water. I'm just saying, like,
Right.
I think my apprehension to it is, like, I think I've only drinking distilled water, like, once or twice. My problem with it, I think, is it just has a really weird taste because there's no minerals in it. Like, the taste just seems off. Like, I don't know how to say it, but, like, we all know, like, tap water versus bottled water is different. Like, it is just different. They do taste different, even though it's water.
Also, just hard and soft water. Like, if you're, like, depending on what city you live in, it tastes completely different. Like, you can taste the fluoride, if that makes sense. And also, when you wash your hands or take a shower, soft water, like, soap just stays all over. You have to, like, keep washing it, but hard water, it, like, comes off immediately, and it's almost like a little bit harder when your skin touches.
It's
There's more friction.
It's because the harder water has minerals in it. I'm pretty sure that's what determines, like, hard versus soft water is the mineral
I think
levels.
so,
because that would be the only thing I could see that makes sense in that.
I think you're right.
Like, is it easier to, like, not use soap?
You just using perfume and Axe body spray like a 13-year-old. I don't take
cleans
showers.
Your body, like, you're just gonna like spray that everywhere.
It holds off. Dude, it can't be that far off. Like, you think, like, the Neanderthals didn't have soap, and they were ripped, and they could fight a hawk.
Yeah, they also didn't have the average. They also didn't have the average life expectancy we had.
Oh my gosh. Okay, but here's the whole thing. the whole big soap and big body wash is turning it's demasculating all men. Is the whole thing here.
No, dude. So it doesn't even come down to that. Like, I would almost use the argument, like, I do think I don't know if it's a, like, conspiracy or if it's just, like, it's really weird. The fact that, like, women have, like, 30 different shampoos, and this is better. And it's specifically marketed to them. Like, when it's a men's thing, it's like, use this soap. It's better. It smells better. By the way, it's 6-in-1. You know what I mean? Like, it's always keep it simple. But when it comes to the women, it's like, no. This has olive oils and sesame seeds in it. And it just cleanses the skin differently. It's like, dude, it's soap at the end of the day. Like, how, like... I don't think there's been any major revolutions in the soap industry.
No. Which is just lard, I'm pretty sure.
It's kind of like, as a guy, you also don't really know what you want, but you don't care too much. You're like, I just know I need some soap. This one smells right. Whereas, like, with, like, marketing to women, is like, they don't know what they want, so we're going to overload them with 30 different options. And there's constantly going to be changing of which is the better and confusing.
Well, see,
whereas a guy, you're like, whatever.
So what's funny to me is, like, I forget where I've read this, but the way they make soaps and stuff like that is not to smell good for your sex. It's meant to smell good for the other sex.
Yeah, it's supposed to release pheromones and stuff.
Yeah, it's supposed to attract others and make others think you smell nice. What's the most important others is typically, for most people, the opposite sex or groups of people who don't normally tell them they smell nice. So that's the target audience. Like, as a dude, I don't think I've ever said to a woman that I was not, like, in a relationship with, you smell nice, because that's kind of weird.
I don't think that's that weird, dude. You think about the amount of time women put into, like, you know, picking out their smells and their perfumes and their body lotions and their face cream. And their hair wash, if you're like, you smell it, they're usually going to appreciate it. Unless you're, like, really weird about it and you do it on, like, when you first meet them.
Dude, it's not that. See, like, if I do it in a different manner. I guess, like, I'll point out, like, are you wearing a perfume or something? Like, I get the conversation started. I don't just lead in with, like, you smell nice. Like, I feel like that's weird.
That's definitely not
like, that's the that's how I read it.
It's not the icebreaker. You smell nice. Yeah, that because it gives off the impression that I approached you for your scent, like the animal diet. Where, like, if you approach them and any other way, hey, you come here often? Oh, hey, let me get what you drinking. I noticed it's kind of like I noticed your drink. I'm drinking too. Hey, I approached you because of your scent. I'm here now. I would like to have a conversation.
I'm here now.
I moved from where I was at and I approached at a moderate speed, not too fast to seem predatory, not too slow to seem too casual.
The pheromones that you are giving off definitely lets me know we might be compatible to mate.
Right. Yeah.
It's
if I was going to sleep with anyone here,
there's a guy with from Discovery with a giant camera on his shoulder, and it's they're at a booth at Applebee's, and there's a couple, and the man's talking to the woman, just standing over their food. The males approach the female when he smelled the food.
the guy with the big ass camera is like, "Don't worry, the conversation's just between you two. Keep it going."
Don't mind
I'm not
us.
here.
I imagine him in the corner by the neon lights with neon lights on him, so he's kind of camouflaged a little bit, but the still big camera is overly obvious.
Oh, every reality show.
They're both wearing a lav mic anyway, so it wasn't even a random pig. Yeah.
How does that work?
I like to imagine.
I'm gonna cold approach.
See,
why does she have a mic pack on her ass?
See, I think you think that way. I like to imagine the guy in the right next to the other guy with other neon lights on with a giant boomstick.
He's he himself is decorated like a Christmas tree. They go around him
so that he can move if he needs to and hold it in the right spots.
Oh my god,
dude.
Those videos can get crazy. It's called approach videos. But yeah.
Dude, so
the Alex Jones episode.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
Dude. Here's why you should watch it, Clayton. Okay. It is such a different perspective. Okay. I don't know if Swin can back me up on this because I don't know. But what blew my mind about the episode is because the first episode with him got taken down after a few hours. This one, they never start their shows like this, but the opening screen is a paragraph of this is all satirical. Nothing here expressed is blah, 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 blah. And then they have a disclaimer for the first half of the podcast in the bottom right corner. All of this is comedy. None of this is to be taken seriously. And then they keep saying it the first 5 minutes. They're like, you're an actor, right? He's like, oh yeah, I'm just an actor. And they're like, this is fake Jameson, right? They're like, oh yeah. They have to keep doing that because if he says one thing wrong, they'll delete the whole episode.
Didn't the reason the first one get taken down? Didn't they speak on COVID and stuff like that?
He said, yes.
That was probably why. That was probably why.
Still why? Because that led right into Jon Stewart talking about COVID on Stephen Colbert's Tonight Show.
What happened with that? That's the part I stopped. I only got 20 minutes into the Alex Jones podcast.
From what I understand on that situation, not listening to the Alex Jones part, Jon Stewart, to my knowledge, talked about the Wuhan lab theory leak, if I recall correctly, and essentially said it is proven, obviously it did leak from a lab. That's what most people think. That's what reputable people are proving.
Mm-hmm.
From what I understand. Now, I mean, I'm sure Devin could correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was just that was their major go after each other.
That was their issue.
It was okay. So here's what made the clip so viral. The Jon Stewart clip, not the Alex Jones clip, the Jon Stewart and Stephen Colbert one, is because Jon Stewart is actually a really good comedian. So he says it with tact and he says it with flavor, and it's and he says it on a public TV show where you're not supposed to say stuff like that because all of that media is so far left. But Jon Stewart's done. You know what I mean? He has his money. He's done with all that. He's kind of at the point where he doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to him to say that type of shit. So he makes a joke about he's like, I don't know. He's like, the research lab is named after the virus, and then it leaked from there. But you're gonna tell us, I don't know. I think a pangolin made out with a bat, and then a bat accidentally flew into somebody's soup. We think. He's like, that's the same as, there was a chocolate outbreak in Hershey, Pennsylvania. right near the Hershey's factory. But we don't know how it happened. Maybe a shovel mated with a chocolate bar. And Stephen Colbert keeps trying to stop him, and he just keeps talking over him and keeps driving the joke further and further.
Dang.
And you just have to watch that, like, you're not supposed to say that. But John's like, dude, like, there's like this body language that's like, if we weren't on camera, you'd be doing this back with me.
Well, it's just like, it's Jon Stewart, bro. Like, Jon Stewart, love him to death. Like when there was that Comedy Central era with Jon Stewart's show into Colbert's, I love Jon Stewart's because it wasn't just like, yes, it's comedy, I'm going to point out how satirical this is or how dumb this is. It was also like, hey, take a critical look at what's going on. Because, like, I like Jon Stewart. He didn't go after just one side or the other. He clearly does lean left, but he does point out the hypocrisies on the left and attacks them just as much. It's just the right will do other things. So it's like, it's comedy based. Like, he just points it out, but his always kind of had that message of like, you should really think about this and take a look into it and decide how you really want to feel about it. Whereas like the way I always read Stephen Colbert's was like, I'm going to just hardcore make fun of this. There's no overarching thing. It's just pointing out how dumb everything is. There was no real like, well, we should probably do this. Like, I guess Jon Stewart, in a sense, gives more prescriptive things of like, well, we should start doing this and this is how we would do it.
He tries to give a solution.
Yes.
Well, I think the whole thing going back to that clip is what makes it funny is because John's like a good comedian. Colbert's show was funny. Like one of my favorite skits was like he like fights a minotaur. That was funny. But once he went to late night talk show and he wasn't the character of the Colbert, he's not funny. It's all like
it's more opinion based, but his opinion is just, I don't know. It's clearly slanted to one side for the appeal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
whereas John's
so far.
You feel like Jon Stewart's more being genuine with you. Like, when people talk about, like, Jon Stewart and stuff like that, like, he saw what was happening with, like, the 9/11 first responders thing. He speaks to Congress. He's helping pay for lawyers. Like, he's battling for these people. He's not just poking fun and standing on the sidelines. He's actually involved.
Yeah.
So it feels more genuine.
Yeah, definitely there's an authentic aspect to it. But the whole thing that makes me interested that was good about the Alex Jones episode on Flagrant and the freaking Jon Stewart clip is that everything has to be covered as a joke. Everything has to be covered as a joke because, like, why do they need a disclaimer running across the bottom of the episode the entire time? It's a podcast. Why do they have to keep every time Alex Jones says something, they're like, but that's an allegation, right? That's a joke, right? Because they're going to get deleted if not. But it's like, that doesn't really make that much of a difference in the grand scheme of things. Me just saying it's a joke, it doesn't really, I can say the same opinion, but if I say, but it's a joke at the end, that's going to somehow protect me, which it doesn't. It should just be allowed to be said, right or wrong, or disagree, agree, whatever. Because he even says, Alex says, he's like, science is about questions, is it not? And they're like, well, yeah. He's like, it's about questions. He's like, science is literally about questioning stuff till you figure it out. So why can you not question science, though? If I question science, I'm wrong. And that's not a crazy thing to say. It's very level-headed.
I don't know. The thing that was getting me with him is like he was like, he was like, yeah, he's like, people just take my clips out of context, like 5-hour episodes every day. And he was like, when I'm being serious about something, I'm being serious. And he's like, when I'm joking, I'm joking. And I was just like, I mean, I guess,
dude.
Yeah, but
so
the guy
hold
called
on.
him out. The Indian guy called him out. He was like, so what you mean is 9 times out of 10 when you're wrong, it was a joke, but then when you're right, you were actually serious. And he just started laughing, and then I moved on to something else.
Dude, but
so I was like, what was that? I was like,
That-
is that a joke? Is that serious?
No, that's literally how Alex Jones is. Like, I've actually sat and listened to his episodes of his show. He pretends like, oh, I'm taking Major out of context. It's like, you're really not. Like, for 5 hours, he rants like that. He makes big claims. I guess the best way I can put it is he does not, when he says he turns it off and he's being serious, there's not an obvious shift in the way that he's acting. So
Well,
it's
so I
like,
was
how do you
wondering
determine when he's joking or not? Like with us,
Because-
I can tell when it's a joke and it's serious. But I also know y'all on a very personal level. But we all have
Yeah.
those friends where it's like, I can't tell if he's joking or if he's being serious or not. And that's how I feel about Alex Jones. Like, if that is true and that's what he claims, and I'm being good faith in it, he doesn't do a good job of showing when he's serious versus when he's not.
What was funny is in the podcast, like just the 20 minutes I saw, is like every once in a while he'd be like, but seriously though, seriously, I'm a woman. You know what I mean? It's like on news, they said that men are women now, so I'm a woman. I'm be whatever I want to be. Like, or something like that. Like, and they're like, all right.
Well, dude,
he kept
but
making
they
that
bring up a-
joke. It's like, yeah, I'm a woman. You forget.
Yeah,
Stop.
it's like the boy who cried wolf.
They bring up a lot of good points. They bring up
They
mascotism.
do, yeah.
They bring up
Mhm.
how the fake every company's all of a sudden gay for a month. They bring that stuff up. So there was like some really
Yeah.
good substance there. But I think overall, like the thing is that there is even in a joke, there is truth said in it. That's like a lot of times you joke with truth in it to see if it's gonna land, but your joke is kind of a shield of like, oh no, I was just joking, because you didn't know how this other person was gonna take it.
Mhm.
That's, you know what I mean? If like maybe your girl says something to you that hurts your feelings, she's like, oh babe, I was kidding, or vice versa. I know guys that are like, oh shit. Oh, I didn't mean that shit.
Yeah.
Like,
But here's my
Yeah.
other argument, though, to bring up like how you're pointing out it's crazy that they have to put a disclaimer like that. It's funny to me because like I see that as them actively trying to, like, YouTube actually trying to do the right thing of like, hey, if it is a joke, if you put that on there, we're fine with it. You just need to give us obvious context to it, because people are horrible at reading context. So let me give you my argument in the other direction and an example of this. So do you think Tucker Carlson's show is actually a real news show? No, it is coming up in court in legal documents when he got sued by a woman because of something she did based on what he told her to do via his like news cycle and everything like that. Their argument was this is satirical. It's not even real facts. It's opinion and stuff like that. But that media doesn't have to advertise that. So that's the argument of like, this is the dangerous side of it.
So we're scared of people's stupidity, yes.
Yeah.
But who is to decide this level? Like, there's a great Simpsons joke about this. I always think about. There's like Homer was in a band called the B Sharps, and they had these foam dispensers, and they're like, how come they quit making these, Dad? And he's like, apparently it was poisonous and it was killing the kids who were eating it, and we didn't have a warning label on it. And he's like, I don't know. He's like, I think if you're dumb enough to eat it, you deserve to die. And Bart already has like a mouthful of it. But I'm just like, if you're dumb enough to believe it, man, like I feel like you need to learn stuff the hard way, because if this constant like, this is a joke, this isn't a joke, how far do we go back? How much can you comb through the thousands, if not tens of thousands of hours that are of content that are uploaded every day? Because now you see on YouTube videos, real big at the top left, it's like there's paid sponsorship in this video, and you click it and it's like, a paid sponsorship is when someone pays you to review a product or to put. How dumb have we gotten?
Okay,
How dumb have we gotten?
Here's the reason with that. So if I recall correctly, the reason why this spawned is what you had when CSGO was huge and skin gambling was huge, and this involved minors and stuff like that. you had, I think it was Syndicate, T. Martin, and one other big name who essentially advertised a spot and didn't make it known that it was their company and stuff like that. So it just opened that can of worms of like, you need to let people know this is sponsored, that you are being paid for this so that they can use that discretion in their own manner. You know what I mean? It's at that point, it's like, hey, we're giving it up to the consumer to hide so that you can't pull anything shady in the background.
Well, also, the other problem with that whole scandal was, again, fucking, you have kids. So there's another level of, like, kids gambling. But what's next? Like, you're going to have top left, you have paid sponsorship. Bottom left, you have this is comedy. And you click it, and it's like, hey, a joke is when you say something you don't actually necessarily mean, but it's absurd, and that's what makes it funny. Here's a few examples of jokes. Like,
see, like that's
how
that's
far can we take
straw.
it? 'Cause, like, you have.
That's like straw manning it though. Like that's not what's happening. It's just like this is a paid sponsorship. Hey, in this context we are joking. Like it's not like they're having to explain what a joke is. Like it's not going that far. Like I get you're trying to paint the picture of like how far does it go? Like how far do we have to dumb it down? But to me it's like, dude, do we just do nothing and let people like you have to have the argument, do you just think it's okay to take advantage of people? Like that's kind of where it comes through is there's a way to take advantage of people like that.
I guess like in the way of taking advantage would be Alex Jones and like what you brought up, Tucker Carlson, if they even had it in court documents saying it was satirical, both present themselves as journalists and people
reputable
that,
sources
report the news. So that could be misleading.
Yeah, that's
what
I'm saying.
I don't know.
Is it's like why is it wrong for
in the podcast setting? No, but like both of them sitting in front of like the background, InfoWars, and he has a suit on and he has all his stuff and he's like, "This is what's going on in the world tonight."
Yeah,
I don't know. People are like, "This is the news," and I get what you're saying though. People are dumb. People are just gonna listen to whatever. But
yeah,
like that's what I need to do.
But it's not even with the Alex Jones. I'm saying like with why do you have to put this as a joke or otherwise you can get deleted? Like if Bill Burr gets on his podcast and some lady or some dude or somebody gets pissed off at something he says, that's on them because they didn't realize it was a fucking joke. Should he have to put a disclaimer on all of his videos? This is a joke. Here's what a joke is.
That's also different context though, right? So the idea is that then we're having the argument of like private company or not, right? YouTube's private company. They're saying, hey, this is what we'd appreciate. So at that point, it comes down to like, well, it can't be. It should be declared a utility. And if it's declared a utility, then the government gets involved with it and the government decides. Like, so that's where we come into a whole, like, that's a big can of worms that we have to get into.
One thing that was funny that Alex said was when he was like, they're talking about people becoming adults and like their rights and stuff or something. And he was like, yeah, I think when they turn 18, he's like, they can just drink Drano if they want. Like, I don't care. And they're like, whoa, you're not supporting that. No, I'm not saying people should go drink it, but I don't care. Like, they're 18, we'll figure it out. Like, and it's like, but people can portray that because they stopped him and they're like, wait, you're not supporting that. He's like, no, but I'm just saying, I don't care if they do, like, I don't know, just like the Tide Pods or anything. But people could take it as like, hey, Alex Jones, he's saying that people should go drink Drano because they're dumb. Like, I don't know.
Right. You're right. So it's like, why him? Like, what?
Like,
I think because he took the stance on Sandy Hook, and that's what just started his whole reputation.
Started it down the hill, but even then, like, I'll give him that. He apologized for it. He said, hey, I was wrong. He, like, revised his stance on it and everything like that, and I appreciate that from him. But when it comes to a capitalist society like it is, Alex has his own platform. Does he not? Created his own website. So at that point, we get into, like, he's using, is it a public utility? Is YouTube a public utility? Is that what we consider it? That's what I'm saying. It comes into, like, a bigger thing. Because Devin, obviously, his stance is, like, it's not, like, why are companies enforcing this? This isn't fair. Like, this seems so wrong and everything like that. But the argument in capitalism is, okay, well, if you feel that way, start a competing platform. And enough people feel that way, your platform will get bigger.
They'll join.
It'll have an audience. That's the argument. So
if it gets Parler got shut down. Parler did that, and they got shut down.
That's true. Parler did get shut down.
So Parler's
I don't know the story well enough, though. I don't really know that story.
Parler is different. So when it comes to calling for violence and stuff like that, that is when the government 100% gets involved, regardless of whether it's a private business or not. So that becomes a lot more different than just painting it as they started their own thing and then they got deplatformed for that. It's like, that's not the whole story.
But here's the whole thing. I understand. The private company, you do what you want. That's capitalism. Fix the problem your own way. That's capitalism, right? The overarching thing is that it is always selective of a certain side of what to censor. It is in the mainstream media. All Tonight shows are like insanely left now. There's not really anybody that's still like, let me just make fun of everything. Like everything in the media is it's so hard left leaning, and then you just have like Fox, and it's so far right that it's just absurd. It's unwatchable. It's so far right, it's unwatchable. So like that's the overarching problem is like, why is there one narrative that everything feels like, and then it's only like, the big six that own everything.
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, now it's YouTube too, because the argument's like, well, it's not just the big six anymore. You have big tech.
Oh no, go ahead, Quinn, jump in.
I was just gonna say, Alex Jones said it in that 20 minutes I watched. He said so much, but he was talking about how like politicians and the media is like distracting us. Like basically one puppet master or one puppeteer has the right or the right and the left, and they're like bringing race to the forefront or bringing immigration to the forefront or bringing abortion back to the forefront out of nowhere, stuff to make people clash, in the middle. And then he brought up, he's like, but right now in China, there's slave labor camps. Dude, I've known about that for like 2+ years. There's literally concentration camps for Muslim people, but no one's talking about it. And American companies are using those people, but they're like, we just don't know that's happening, but our products come from there.
So like, here's where
but what are we gonna do about it? I don't know.
Like, here's where it comes down to like more just the fact of like, he's like, oh, this is a major issue. It's like, okay, but you do everything before that jokingly. Like, if you really are trying to make a difference and call awareness to it, why don't you have a serious session of that? Like, why don't you do one that's mixed? Why don't you do one that, like, this is 100%, like, this is how I feel about it? Like, why can't he actually take a hard stance on it?
But it felt mixed in the 20 minutes. He was joking and back and forth. I feel like you could kind of tell.
It has nothing to do with that. No. So here's the problem with him doing that. The problem with him doing that is it's not entertaining and people don't want to watch that. People don't want to hear about your opinions. So then it comes down to a problem with humanity of like, people obviously want to see the most offensive things they can so that they can take outrage over that. It's always been the way. That's how it's slanted the whole time. So like, well, you're like, well, the left, like the media is doing this, all left leaning. Yeah, because that's what's getting the most clicks. It's not that they actually care what that opinion is. Their job is literally to make money. That's what he was saying, I think, is that the puppeteer, they're both there were two heads from the same dragon or whatever. Like it's whatever's going to hit. It's like the guy I was telling y'all about, or the two guys that during the 2016 election, they would pull up their trucks, set up because people were big on flags. You got right there on the left, Black Lives Matters and LGBTQ flags. And then on the right, you got Trump flags and pro-police flags. And they would just yell at each other, and that would drive sales. Neither one of them cared about politics, but they made hella money. Mm-hmm. Like, that is some crazy manipulation. So if we don't think that's happening at like a major scale, bro, that's not. It definitely is. That's not even manipulation, though. Like, how? What is manipulation? Maybe that's the wrong word, but it's driving you. Like, it's
What's the word?
It's literally just
it's
appealing
playing
to
on your emotions. I mean, I don't know,
Yeah.
something like that.
It's just using your emotions for profit and to keep you mad, because then you see that other truck and you're pissed. You're like, I'm going to support this truck. It's just playing off their emotions. But the narrative is like, yes, it's for clicks, but the idea of like, why is there only, 6 to 9 major companies that own everything, is that if the head of those companies wanted you to think anything, they could do it very easily.
Mm-hmm.
Because everything's under their umbrella. That's why it's like, hey, does this not look weird? If they decided they wanted a certain narrative, it would not be hard at all.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like that's why you don't hear about so much. That's the whole thing about it.
Well,
if they wanted to change crypto, they don't really have a good chance at that, because that other side is like getting so big. But I'm just saying, like, if they want a certain narrative out there, it's not hard at all.
Well, there already is.
I don't know what you're talking about on the crypto thing. They literally take those narratives of like, this is ruining the economy.
Yeah.
Like, they took their shots at it. It's not like Bitcoin was untouched. They tried.
Yeah.
Why do you think
they're
Elon?
still trying a little bit.
Why do you think Elon backed out? His whole denouncing of cryptocurrencies was, it's just not power efficient. It's bad for the environment.
I mean, in reality, what's funny is that nothing we did in America is what really affected that. It was China. Like, I was reading some articles, China banning like the Bitcoin mining is what really shot everything down. It wasn't, but supposedly, it's really interesting. I think they said Texas is one of the states a lot of people or companies from China are interested in coming to mine, bring their mining facilities here.
It's because of the lack of regulation.
You don't have the grid for it.
Yeah, I don't know. I forgot what the reason was, but yeah.
What the hell?
Dude, I don't know, bro. Even getting into like China and all that, dude, like that is the whole argument of like, why should we care about any regulations here? Because China does, whatever % of all the damage to it.
Dude, and that's the problem. That's one of the problems, because I don't know if y'all have noticed, but there is a shortage of a lot of stuff everywhere, because so many things got back. There was one of those freight ships, whatever. One of those sunk, and who knows how many supply chains that screwed up. Like, I was talking with my family at one of my sister's graduation. Like 3 or 4 of them, they all work in different fields, and all of them are like, oh yeah, our supplies are short. Our customers are backed up for months. Because everything comes from there.
Well, so I was watching a video. This guy kind of broke it down, like it just staggered throughout 2020 and so far this year. But like, when I think he was talking about China shipping all their stuff, like he said they would ship like 3,500 shipping containers on their ship. So when they make it to America, normally we'd unload it all, fill those back up, and ship it back. Well, when COVID happened and everyone like had their layoffs and cutbacks and everything, we were only shipping back about 1,500 shipping containers, and we had the other 2,000 just sitting there off every ship. So then China, they weren't getting their containers to move the stuff back over here. And then so that raised the price of these shipping containers for like 1,500 a pop to like 3,500 a pop. I was like, holy shit, dude. Like you said, one nick in the chain, everything just screws up. But he was just saying how that's just staggered all the way to now. Like you said, all these different fields.
And I think it's Amazon. Like, they're unloading the pod and like shipping it back so they can get a better deal on it and get it faster. Because somehow it's more efficient and all that. But I mean, yeah, and then
pods are expensive right now. Dude,
Prime Day was yesterday, Monday and Tuesday. It's Prime Day, but it's 2 days. But dude, like the warehouse in Dallas has one of the freeways backed up constantly. There's just semi after semi after semi after semi waiting to get in. As soon as it gets in, it's hours wait. As soon as it gets in, they're just drained, and then they're back for another shipment. There's just so much consumption. It's just absolute insanity. On top of one mess up in the chain is like.
And I've heard
months.
I've heard we have a shortage of truckers, and I heard a pretty interesting theory, I guess. I don't know if it's a reason, but theory as to why, because I know we talked about before, like the unemployment and the benefits, and people are like, just don't want to go back to work, whatever, low pay. Well, I found one that was interesting. This guy was saying that a lot of trade schools that are just HVAC or just trucking or just electrician or like these smaller trade schools shut down or went to half capacity at the 2020 all the way through to pretty much this year. And I think it's like half of them was like the estimate have not even opened back up. So a lot of people who are supposed to receive, like can go to these places to get this training. I mean, hell, even John Deere has a school. You have to go to school to work on a John Deere tractor and stuff like equipment. So, I mean, but if these schools aren't there and people can't go get the certifications to go get these jobs, like it's just another nick in the chain. I don't know. I thought that was interesting. It seemed like a good.
I don't know. I forget what it was, but one of those trade schools got discovered for fraud.
Really?
Yeah, I can't remember. I think it was like ITT or whatever.
Oh,
they got caught for they got caught for fraud. They're full shut down. Yeah. Like they got caught for fraud because they lied about job placement and all that stuff. What you'd be actually eligible for when you got out. They got popped for fraud.
I feel like that's in a lot of schools.
Yeah, dude, it's just they were dumb enough to get caught.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is like so much of it is you can't guarantee that stuff with education, so it's so vague. They have to keep it so vague, like, well, like I don't even. It's hard to find the narrative now or hear the narrative of like, if you go to school, you'll get this job. Like I hear that less and less and less. It's just like I should go to school. It's just getting slimmer and slimmer to just like school.
Well, so like I actually ended up discussing this with my coworker that there are some jobs that it's like, yeah, you do need to go to college for that. Like you need to do schooling for that. Like the obvious ones are obviously like doctor, nurse. Like you should have to go to school for that. But like I was pointing out the fact of how many people go to college just to say they went, who go in and get like a business degree. And I pointed out, like, you don't have to have a business degree to start a business. Like, it's not that hard. So it's like, I think it's just that schools offering some of the most useless degrees out there for, like, you don't need that to get into the field.
And the thing is to me, colleges and universities, they almost advertise like an army recruiter. They're like, hey, here, look at all these great amenities and all this awesome stuff. And you're going to like find out so much about yourself. Almost college now is like advertised as a coming of age period. Like if you don't do this, you're never going to figure yourself out. So give us all your money for the next 4 years and you'll have memories you won't regret. And that's like pretty much it. Cause I mean, the people, the millennials or I don't know if we're considered that or not. We're like pretty close to the tail end, but like people in their 30s, we are okay. But I know people in their 30s that like have all the degrees and they don't do nothing with it. Literally nothing with the degree.
Dude, I mean, and I'm with you 100%. I'm with you 100% on
the useless degrees. I'm saying, like,
yeah, it's advertised that way of like that's to me, and you're also at that age where you're still very unsure. So yeah, the amenities and the real thing is like,
great.
Yeah, maybe if you're cool enough, you can pay to have some friends in a fraternity and you can just get drunk with them all the time. What does that have to do with the actual learning, though? Like, yes, that's an experience to go through. But if the school was stripped down to you go here and you learn this, that would actually be 90% more effective, but 1,000% less sexy. People don't like that.
Yeah.
People want sexy. Yeah. People want to be sold the dream. Until they get there, and then they're like, what the hell?
Dude, college would be so cheap if it really was just school. Like, if you really took everything else out, like not even living there, like you just got to drive here. If it's just school, dude, that would probably be like, I don't know, maybe $1,000 or $2,000 a semester. Like,
well, that's almost the argument of like community college. Like community college isn't incredibly expensive. It's still expensive, don't get me wrong, but it's not horrible. Compared to like these big
$1,200 a semester.
Yeah, compared to these big, huge schools that are universities and stuff like that, it's private colleges that tend to be the issue with that.
And dude, I remember being salty because like at the university we went to, I remember they had like I mean, I guess life coaches have a place, but why did we have like 10 life coaches? And I'm like, yeah, I graduated from here and now yeah. Or they were like student coaches or something. It was like when you got there as like a new student, they like did your schedule. They helped you figure out what degree you wanted and like all that other crap. I remember sitting in there and waiting for them.
I think the idea
And I
of
was
that, like, I don't find that useless. I do find that, like, needed.
It's not useless, but it's like there's a lot of these people. Like,
yeah,
what is your degree?
Like,
anyone could do this. Like, what? I don't know.
Yeah, there's so many pathways, and it's like we have people who just advise you on the pathway, which is a pathway in itself.
Yeah.
So where's the pyramid stop of pathway coaches coaching pathway coaches?
Well, I
Dude,
mean,
I don't know, bro.
my
That's
argument to that, though, is like that actually stands to benefit the school, right? Like, if I don't get you, like, it's part of like sales, right? If I don't get you to somewhat decide on a direction, are you going to stay here? No. And also, like, hey, we've got these people, even if you don't know what you want to do, let us help you figure out what you want to do, right? Like, it's going to put you on a path. It makes it more accessible knowing that someone's going to try to help you get ready and kind of help point you in the right direction.
That's a really good point, bro. When you said, as soon as you said sales, I'm like, hey, that's true. That's a good point.
That's what most of it is.
Yeah.
More recruitment. Yeah, and it's like, yeah, like the huge, like, why am I paying for the sports complex, man? Like, why? You know what I mean? Like, I don't even go, bro. Like, I don't watch the thing, you know. And I'm sure there's plenty of people that do. Like, nothing against that. I'm not shitting on that. I'm just saying, like, why is it like that? And then not only this is just like the water thing. It's like, well, you went to college. It's like, but you didn't go to a prestigious enough one. It's like,
yeah.
What do you mean? Bro, we both have a paper that says we are in debt, basically. like, what do you mean? It's like, oh, you know, I went to this one. It's hard to get into. It's like,
okay, but
cool.
All right, side argument to that, higher education. Do you think where me and Quentin graduated from is as even closely respected to where you graduated from?
Yeah, that's true.
Bro.
So that's kind of the argument. Now, granted, if we apply to the job, it comes down to us. But at the end of the day, it's also about what school took care of you better. Like, what school has a track record of bringing out high success people who are actually going to stick with it, right?
Yep.
Really. So from the outside, the outsiders don't know, right? But here's the other thing. Other thing that college helps you with, that if you went and you did not take advantage of this, just like in high school, and just like wherever you work now, did you get connections? Because that's what matters in life. Did you use that college? Because that's where the fraternities benefit. So I will, you know, kind of talk out of both sides of my mouth, so it'll pay for friends, but that can follow you for life of like, oh, I know Zach. Oh, dude, I was just friends with Zach. Now you have an interview for that job.
Yep.
Now you have a leg up on every other person applying. So that's how it can benefit you in real life, because it's what you know, and it's who you know, not what you know. So
yeah, and there's some very powerful families that send, you know, their kids like I'm gonna go with Clayton's side on this, but like to Yale or Princeton or some high end place. I mean, most politicians come from those, or like their clubs and stuff there, making connections. I mean,
you'll be
like set, dude.
Skull and Bones of Dartmouth, I believe it is.
I mean, bro, my cousin, like step cousin, but my uncle's daughter's husband, they're like in their 40s or 50s. I'm not very close to him, but he went to college with a guy who's a lobbyist in Washington now. I'm like, that's cool. Like, you don't know who people are going to end up being. Like, I mean, I'm sure that's just like does nothing for him, but it's like, that's kind of interesting. Yeah, but he's up there making moves. He's actually changing stuff up there.
Dude,
I mean,
it's so many things are connections, bro. It's that 6 degrees of separation. Like, I love watching podcasts about, like, I mean, I don't know, just whatever I'm interested in, and like hearing how some of the interviews land. Like some of the interviews they got, like you know, this random guy I've never heard of interviewing Tony Hawk, and it's like, well, he knew somebody that was like, oh, I can get a hold of Tony Hawk, and it's like, that guy's a legend. It's like, yeah, but I just know 2 people. And it always goes that way. It's like, how did you get to the barracks? I knew a guy who knew a guy, and they're cool, so they gave me the cosign. Like, so much of that, it's who you know. It's who you know. That's why.
Yeah.
If you ever take the beginner step, into the self-improvement book aisle, everyone will always recommend How to Win Friends and Influence People. And it's a great book. It's tried and true. It's a great book. It's tried and true. That's why. That is why. Mm-hmm. How do you think people that are completely outside of any company, because this always pisses off inside employees, they're like, why are they hiring from the outside? Well, how did they hire from the outside, first of all? Because 1,000 people will apply for a high-paying job. How do they narrow it down to 5 people so quick? Who do you know? Who knows who? It's always going to come down to that, bro. Like, connections in life are so important, and they will always pay you. They will always pay you because that can give you more knowledge, more expertise. Now, I've burned bridges. But the ones I haven't, very, very valuable.
Sometimes you have to.
I don't disagree with it. Comes down to who you know, but it's also kind of like the idea of vetting, right? Like, the whole reason, like, because let's be honest, it's not always the case of who you know. It is just a majority of the time, and it benefits you most of the time to make those connections. But, like, the same thing, like, you can boil it down because, like, even if you don't know someone in that company, if you did really good in that company kind of vetted you. So as long as you get your foot in the door in one area, that company vets you, and then you're kind of known by association. Like, I feel like it's just vetting at that point.
Which turns back into who you know, because they're like, hey, man, this guy's a beast. And then the upper leadership, is like, yes, that guy's got our cosign.
But that's not.
So then it turns back into.
That's also, though, I would say that's also, like, a part of, like, can you get there by hard work? Yes, but you have to have both. You're not going to get there with just hard work.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Like, you need to be personable. And, like, that's the biggest thing that holds me back. Is like, dude, I'm not personable. Like, if you get to know me, that, like, relationship will form is going to be really strong. It's going to be great because you're going to really respect the things that I tell you and stuff like that. But to the average person, I'm not personable. I'm not approachable, and I seem standoffish.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's like playing politics in your company, like Devin always says. I think, like, that would be the other side of the working hard coin. You got to play politics, which is just high school social crap or college social crap, whatever you want to say. But who you know in the company as well.
I definitely think that who you know definitely benefits you too a little bit. I don't know, man. I think I think to come out the best on it, you need both. Like, because be honest, like, you can be the most personable person ever, but if you're an idiot when it comes to the job, you're not going to just get randomly promoted. You're not going to move up to where you want to be. Like, can that happen? Yes, but what, like, people hire their sons and stuff like that with nepotism just because, like, oh, well, he's my son. Well, if he doesn't work hard and he doesn't know what he's doing, what happens to that company after you're gone? Oh, it tanks. It bankrupts. The reputation of the business is ruined. So, like, I think it also comes down to, like, you have to have both, and if you want to be successful, you need to have both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you could just get away with slacking on the hard work a little bit if you're really good at talking with people and being personable. They'll cut you more slack.
Yeah. Yeah. No, 100%. 100%. Yeah.
I experienced slack.
See, you experienced that. I got in trouble, bro. I got a quick talking to.
How long can you hang out based off who you know?
Dude, really, like,
that's a good
because of y'all two and my previous job, like, I already had, like, people like coming in, people like, all right, this guy would be cool. Like, it wasn't like I had to, like, I still had to, but it was like, all right, cool.
Yeah, essentially we had set you up. You just had to not botch it.
Pretty much.
Like, that's what it comes down to. What makes me laugh about that, dude, is You got all the slack, bro. When I worked with him, he pulled me in the back room and he's like, don't ever talk to me like that again. He's like, we're friends, but don't talk to me like that in front of other employees. And he set the tone with me. I was like, okay.
I never talked to him.
Hold on. He at that job, he never worked for me directly. He only worked for me directly when we were at the restaurant. And that was a different level of responsibility and like different point in both of our lives. Like, like I had like an idea of management, but it was just so like different.
Dude, no,
I was terrible at that job.
I got
the restaurant was looking back, I'm like,
it's a mess.
How
does
this work?
Dude, I just remember that Stern talking to that set. Like, what's funny to me is I laugh about it, but like I completely understand it. It was just a different context. All it was setting boundaries, which you should do with any employee. It was just a lot more aggressive towards me because he's like, I know you. I know I need to be aggressive to get my point off and that you're not going to take it to heart.
Not only that, something I always use is that because I'm so charismatic and I'm outgoing, when you do not see me like that, it's probably pretty serious, and it takes a lot for me to get there. So it's like it's like when you see the nice guy flip out, you're like, okay, you're like, of all people, that guy. So it's one of those.
Yeah. I know when you had to come, he came to a morning meeting that, you know, he's not supposed to come to normally, but we were in trouble. And it wasn't a fun meeting, dude.
No, dude.
This is very, very tense in there. And after he left, we're all just like looked at each other, and our manager's like, well,
bro,
already get back
you
on
want to know?
shit.
You know what's hilarious about that
Like,
though?
I was like, damn, dude,
it's like, intense. Dude, I get the battle report afterwards. So like,
oh, you got the rundown,
dude. He does like the day before. He's like, this is the setup. So I get the pre-op before he runs the mission. Then it's like comes in, does it, gets done. Sits on it for a little bit throughout the day. I call him when I'm ending my shift, talk to him, see where his head's at and everything like that, air out my stuff, he airs out his, and I get the battle report afterwards. It's always respectful, but it's like, dude, it's like, I don't understand how it gets like this sometimes. Like, he gives that battle report, but he is fair when it comes to the battle report.
Yeah. Hell yeah, dude. Yeah, I just remember it was tense. Even the veteran got onto us after that meeting. But
hey man, it's got to get done sometimes. You gotta do it the right way, man. You gotta do it the right way and hit some cold hard facts.
Oh, dude,
a little bit of emotion and then back to the facts.
So
back to the facts.
You know how in the early episodes we talked about that Snapchat case with the cheerleader?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God,
ruled in her favor. She won that case. She won the case of free speech.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
That story had a happy ending.
It did.
In a way.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah. I mean,
you so still lost to the school.
I mean, I have no idea. Of course, when I read the article, like, I'd have to look way more into it. But of course, it's like, this is how they feel after the case. This is what happened. Nothing of the actual substance of, like, this is what the school had to do to essentially make this right.
Oh, okay. That's what I was wondering.
It's like, it's probably also one of those websites that you click on, and there's 5 pop-up ads, and you scroll down. There's a membership ad, and you're like, oh, my God, let me read this. And then there's 5. You have to click. Each paragraph is a different page, which loads into another ad.
As you're scrolling down to ad in the middle of the article.
Dude, when the ad scrolls with it, you have to scroll through the ad and then
you're only reading like the top 2 sentences at a time, and if you go too far, it's a game of finding right where you were at.
And you're so annoyed by this. You're no longer interested in reading what you started out. You are now in a battle of anger of like, I'm going to finish this. You're not even you don't even take it in by the end of it. You're like, I don't even remember what I read. I just want to get to the end of it. And it's just.
Yes, dude.
Dude, Are you hurting that bad for money, dude? Just cut down the ads and like maybe just put out more articles or maybe just do something better. I don't know.
Dude, I hate the New York Times one where it's like we give you like 2/3, like maybe a third of the article, get your teeth wet. Guess what? You've already read 5 articles free from us. If you want to read more, you need to buy our membership. It's like, no, I don't care. I'm not reading your art. Like, I'm not doing it. I don't care about this news story. So now when I'm clicking the links for like the Washington Post and the Times and stuff like that, I'm mentally keeping track of how much do I actually care about this article before I go and dive into it. Because like I may have used my one free one.
Probably just VPN that up, honestly. But here's the thing. Yeah, I think journalists should get paid for what they write. Awesome. I think they should. But it's just things have changed so much. Like, it's – because here's the other thing. If you don't get to the end of that article, you can probably just YouTube that same article and someone just is like, here's what happened, here's my opinion on it. And now you found somebody on YouTube that you like who has all the content for free. It's things have changed so much, dude. Like all skate parts now are on YouTube and they're released in singles of just the skater. It's not like used to, like they would come out, there was like a movie premiere or it would come out on a DVD. You know what I mean? I remember getting the Girl Chocolate video, Pretty Sweet. Still remember that Christmas present. Like it was a big deal because it's never before seen footage and I got to pop in the DVD and blah, blah, blah. That wasn't even that long ago. That's like 2012 or so. But now it's like everything's on YouTube. If you even think about charging for like that type of content, you're like you're Satan himself to charge to, yeah.
Everything on YouTube is like a summarization of something else. And then there's YouTubers that have a whole channel that their channel is summarizing other YouTubers summarizing stuff. And then there's people like, I'm going to react to this guy's video. So we're just going to watch it together.
Bro.
I'm going to make faces in the corner.
So speaking on that, dude, did y'all see the Steven Crowder H3H3? God, I can't think of the other guy. Did y'all see that?
No. What happened?
So apparently, I haven't been following it because I don't really follow Steven Crowder. I don't follow H3H3. But, like, this entered my sphere in the YouTube algorithm, and I had ignored it for, like, a week or two. It's like, fine. Okay, I will finally look at it. I look at it. So what ends up happening is apparently H3H3 and Steven Crowder are, like, taking shots at each other in videos. Like, while they're doing their normal show, they're just taking shots at one another. Then it comes down to... okay, I'm going to, like, Steven Crowder being the political guy that he is, he's like, fine, I'll debate him. And H3 is like, okay. And he comes on, he's like, well, as you know, I'm not a very prepared, like, I'm not a debater. This isn't what I do. Kind of pointing out, like, your show's only big because you slam dunk on people who literally, like, aren't that big into politics, and you won't debate anyone that's real in politics, like that actually opposes your opinions. So it's like you kind of built your whole channel on that, just a light jab. So what he does is, like, as they're about to get into it and Steven Crowder's about to do it, H3 drops into the background on the Zoom call and has I cannot remember his name. I really wish I remembered his name, but he's a big guy on the left with an actual, like, huge, like, million view YouTube channel, pops in, and Ethan just sits back and watches the fire roar, dude. It is hilarious. It is Steven Crowder just, like, panicking, clearly not wanting to debate this dude, like, pointing out the reason of, like, I won't debate this dude because he has no viewers. It's pointless. There's no audience. He's only trying to cling on and get viewership off of me. That's why I'm not debating him. Dude, it is hilarious, bro.
Wow.
It's the most random beef.
Dude, I mean, but that's H3H3.
Yeah. He always has beef with someone.
It's their current form, yes. And I think that's the only thing that could spawn from is because now H3 is, like, cancel everything they don't like. So, like, I could see maybe that's how that started. That's probably how that crossed paths. But that's because it used to be funny, man. But now it's like if he doesn't like something, he like tags their sponsor constantly and is like, you know, speaks on allegations to their sponsors. Like, dude, what are you doing?
Don't get me wrong, that's right. But if I recall correctly, I want to say, I think I may be wrong here. Like, I'm 50-50 on this, but I'm pretty sure this whole argument spawned because H3H3 said his wife wore a mask to a party, and they said follow the science. Like,
what?
Yes, like I could be wrong in thinking that they talked about this and then maybe Ethan took a shot at Steven Crowder first. But in my mind, and this could be my bias showing a little bit, I think like they did this and then Steven took a shot at them, and then with H3 and how they are, they're like, fine, we're going to critically watch his show. We're going to point out everything he does wrong. Like, that critical attack, and dude, it was just like, it was so random but hilarious to me. And then watching like the Crowder side just being like, this was a dirty tactic, this was so wrong, and everything like that. Everyone on like the left leaning side of things was like, isn't this what Steven Crowder used to do, right? Didn't he used to ambush people's panels and stuff like that to make fun of them and cause a ruckus?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, he did.
Yeah.
They do investigative journalism. But yeah, I mean, that's what you would call it. But yeah, I mean, that's funny because it's not wrong.
Yes, it made me laugh because they were like,
Wham dunking on people.
Well, he does this to other people, interrupts their debate panels, and then he's upset when it happens to him. It's like, this is literally what you do, like what you used to do. I don't understand why you're upset by it. Like using that card of like, well, this is how you used to do it. Why aren't we allowed to do it?
Bias, bro.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool when I do it, but you can't do it.
Yes, bro. It was just hilarious to me watching that fallout of it. It was great. And then watching people analyze it and everyone just dying laughing, thinking it's hilarious.
I mean, I haven't watched either one of them in years. The last time I watched H3 was it was like a collab with him and iDubbbz. I thought it was hilarious. Like they had like iDubbbz had a video where H3 came to his house, and then H3 had a video where iDubbbz went to his. And the humor was just, I just liked their humor in those two videos. I thought it was really funny, but I haven't seen H lately. I guess it's a little bit off of comedy now.
Yeah,
but.
dude, he's still funny, but he's very like SJW, I guess. I don't like using that because I hate putting a label on it because I don't know their actual opinion. But it does feel like he's very much about like cancel culture, stuff like that, and just kind of ignores the flaws in it and stuff.
It's just weird because that seems opposite of what he used to be. Like just, I don't know, he like how he just made fun of stuff. Like he was very dry humor, very like point out dumb stuff, and like iDubbbz, dude, he will say whatever he wants. Like he does not care. And he points out a lot of stupidity. Like I don't feel like he had a mask video that was pretty hilarious.
The other thing about him too is like, I don't know, man. Like he's just like a weird breed because he's really smart too. So
yeah,
not only is he gonna like really take it down, it's gonna be really funny too. It's tasteful, it's funny, but it's also everything's on the table. Everything is on the table.
Everything, bro.
It's definitely a quality over quantity thing too. Like his content cops are insanity, bro. Because then he'll just take this weird angle that you did not expect. Like I don't know if y'all saw the Tana Mongeau one. That one was insane, where he like goes to this influencer's event. Like he doesn't like how like at that time the Storytime YouTube trend was like, you know, it'd be like, I almost died in a taxi, not clickbait, or like I almost choked on my toothbrush, gone sexual ? Well, he was like like that was a trend, and he picked her because she was like the biggest one of it. And then like she released a video about how she got like attacked or assaulted, or she got scared of one of her influencer meetups. But dude, like a month later, he drops his video. He has the footage of the story that she's telling. It's completely inaccurate. It's like to think 2 to 3 steps ahead of this person, and like, I don't know, man. He's just smart, dude. It's like, it's one of those people that's like, rather not get in a conflict with, because you just know he's a lot smarter than you.
He's gonna trash on you. Yeah, he's a lot quicker on his feet, I guess, than H3, and also his like the looks he makes and his voice just work so well. He makes you feel dumb. Like, not only is he smart, but he makes you feel dumb.
Because he's like you speak with conviction on your point. You'll dude. Okay, speaking with conviction, dude. Okay, I was in this location. I think this was like a day or two ago. Customer comes in and is looking for the garage door opener, and one of the employees is like, I don't think we've seen that turn in. And I, across the store, I'm like, no ma'am, no one has turned one in. She's like, oh, thank you so much, and leaves. Someone else turns in after she walks out. They're like, why did you say that like you even come here every day? And I'm like, but I said it with so much conviction, she believed me. That's all it takes. So like with H3, if you can, and that's not just H3, not H3, iDubbbz. It's not just iDubbbz. This is how like anything, like an Alex Jones or like a Bill Burr or anyone, you just say it so confidently, people will take it and just run with it. Because they're like, if you're that confident, you couldn't be wrong.
Yeah. It's the trust that you're not an idiot, because there's no way an idiot could be that sure of themselves.
Yeah.
But
when I was working for the company, I sold a customer on something that I found out later was the opposite. But I believed, like, I legitimately, I was like, yeah, this is how it works. Yeah, no doubt. And it didn't work that way. But because I believed, there was like, that sounds great.
Dude, that's the thing. Like, that's the thing. Idiots are confident in what they say. That's why it's like, dude, anybody can be wrong just because they say it so well. Doesn't mean anything. Like, what? Yeah. Disclaimer.
Disclaimer, he's not a woman.
Disclaimer, sponsorship. Disclaimer, joke. Disclaimer, could be wrong. Disclaimer, could be right. Question mark.
I don't know, dude. I like the host on that, whatever his name is. That guy from, I just remember from Guy Code. Yeah, it's funny because I feel like, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Andrew Schultz. Yeah, I'm almost positive. I remember his fade. Yeah,
he was.
Yeah, but that I don't know how he is with Alex Jones. Like, I feel like he like tames him almost, or not tames him, but he keeps him on a path. Like, when he starts getting too far, he's like, let's come back over here, you know, and like, what do you think about this?
Well, that's what any good interviewer does. That's what any good interviewer does, though.
Yeah.
Alex Jones is hard to control, though. That's what I'm saying. He's very good at it.
Andrew himself, he's a great podcaster. He's a great comedian. If you watch his other episodes, like, dude, like, they do everything, bro. They got a guy who's obsessed with Bitcoin on, and then they had the guy Chris Hansen, To Catch a Predator. They had him on.
Oh, what the heck,
dude? Yeah, man. Like yeah, he's just a good interviewer, you know. Like, so.
I don't know, dude. That's one of those skills that I wish I had a little bit better, is the ability, like, of being a good interviewer. Like, I feel like that's a super valuable skill, being able to get people to talk like that and pulling them out of their shell.
Yeah, for sure, dude. And I like that he kind of, their platform, even though they have all the disclaimers, I feel like they kind of, everything's on the table. Like, I mean, they already like threw out a bunch of race like terms and stuff, because in the studio he has like a bunch of different ethnicities working for him, and he's just like calling them out, like, you're gonna be this part of the Voltron because you're this, and you're gonna be this. I was like, dang, dude.
It's the epitome of bro talk, bro. I don't know if you watched the one I sent. This is like over a month or two ago. It was when Bad Baby did the OnlyFans thing.
Uh-huh.
They debated for almost 20 minutes. Would you be okay with if your daughter had an OnlyFans? And they were like getting into the logistics of it. And Andrew Schultz is like, if your pussy's in my house, it's my pussy. And that just turned down an insane rabbit hole. But it's like the conversations they're having on camera are the conversations most people have off camera. That's what makes it good. That's what makes it good.
They're really just chilling. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
I don't know, dude.
Yeah, because Alex Jones, like, go ahead.
That's a good question, honestly. Like, I like thinking about it of like, it's almost like the idea of like, they can do it, but I don't want to know about it. Like how most parents are. Like, do you? I just don't want to hear about it. I'd rather not know.
My thing is like, it depends how the corporate world changes in 20 to 30 years. Because the problem with most of it happening is that, it's online, it's there forever. That could come back and bite them.
Mm-hmm.
But not really. Like, you would think, like, well, if there's naked photos of you online and you're known for doing this, it could come back on you. But give it probably like 5 more years, and it's so standard that it's going to be like, well, you can't shame her for that. Which is kind of already there. It's
I feel
there,
like we're already there, yeah.
But it's not there in a corporate world yet. Among people, you're not allowed to shame that at all. You're basically Satan himself. But at a corporate level, would they, really? It's just like, you got OnlyFans.
I feel it would take a little bit for the company to do it. I feel like the reason that stuff only happens in companies is because they can hide behind the company. Like, you know what I mean? They can hide and be like, that's not the reason we didn't hire her. Like, that could 100% be it. They can pull, I guess, for subterfuge would be the word that I would use on it. They can hide. Dude, they don't have to be upfront with why they're not hiring you.
And this happens all the time, man. Like, if your name's on the list for interviews, they check all your social medias.
Mm-hmm.
Anything they can find you on, they'll check through it. And then if there's something they don't like on there, like, you're not even going to get considered. So, I mean, but again, it's to what level? So, like, would an OnlyFans be okay? You know what I mean? Or could it be off-brand, misrepresenting the brand? But again, here's the thing, like, let's just keep it up. I mean, dude, let's be real. Women have the upper advantage on that. That's okay. You can't, you know what I mean? So I think it'd be okay.
It's a supply and demand issue. Just like that, like that meme I sent you, bro.
Oh. It's not really that. It's
Diamond hands.
It's not really that. It's that it's not wanted. No one wants to see that. No one wants to see.
It's a supply versus demand thing, bro. They can see it whenever they want. It's supply versus demand. Every dude's willing to do it.
That's the whole dating game in a nutshell, though. Women have it to give away, but men have to hunt and fight for it to get some. Women can just it's like
it's a supply versus demand.
You can throw a rock and hit someone else.
We have too much supply.
So it's like it's like the inverse too, because like, she's getting how many of those pics a day? You know what I mean? As a guy, it's like, if I get one out of the blue, I'm like, oh, all right, what's up? But it's not often. There's like...
Dude, the supply and demand,
because
bro.
It's the whole dating game in a nutshell.
It is.
Like,
I don't know, bro. I don't know how you do the dating game nowadays. I could not. Like,
trash. It's trash.
Just half the things you tell me of, like, literally having to reschedule plans like 9 times to show you're interested. Like, oh God, that would drive me up a wall. I don't know how you do that.
But the thing is, I don't anymore because it's like it's such a waste of time. So like, okay, Tinder, trash. Just online dating is trash because like statistically, statistically, top 20% of the guys, they're fucking 80% of the chicks. All right, that's just statistically, right? And this the stuff that like how you have to set your profile is so backwards or slanted, I guess. Like as a girl, you can put in your bio like, I'm this, you better deal with it. I'm this, you better deal with it. And if you don't like this, get the F out. That's okay. But as a guy, if you're like, I'm only looking for this or GTFO, it's like, well, that's not cool. You're an asshole. So there, but and then
even
the
though
other
that's
thing is
literally what the app is made for.
Right, and like it's like you can't have the same amount of restrictions because as soon as you say restrictions, which most guys don't. Most guys, if you meet 30% of their expectations, they're probably cool with it. They'll take what they can get. So like, but like with the women's dating profiles, it's like you better match everything. And you're like, what the hell, man? Like this is stupid.
But
don't be a manlet.
I think it just comes down. Yeah, dude, I'd die in the dating scene. I'm 5'2",
be a manlet, bro.
I couldn't do it. Yeah. I'd have to get that leg corrective surgery to make me grow 2 inches, and even then, bro, I better be wearing heels. I couldn't do it, bro.
You're 5'2"?
I'm 5'2", bro.
Dang, I'm only like 5'3" then.
This is another one I love. Let me see. It's like, you better be able to hold a conversation because I can't. Please be interesting or better be funny. It's like, you're already putting all of this on me. You saying you suck at having a conversation, but I better be interested.
Supply versus demand.
What? I'm like, what do you mean? Like, why? That does not sound appealing to me. Or like, I've come across several that are like, no car, so you better be able to pick me up. I don't do this. Have the door open or like have roses for me when you show up. I'm like, imagine a guy saying, I got no car, I don't have a job, but you better blow me when I get there. Like, you look like a slob.
So, okay, here's my thing, though, with the, like, better have roses. I almost feel like that's just to ward people off.
And it's, and here's the other thing.
Because, like, dude, nobody they're meeting for a first date on online dating is showing up with roses.
Nope.
Oh, and then here's the other thing. All of them that say, I don't do hookups, they do hookups. 1,000%. It's again, yeah, maybe it's a little bit of filtering process, but it's just.
I think it's just the fact that they can be more upfront about it is the thing.
It really is.
They can be upfront. You can't, because like Quentin said, the whole idea of the like being on Tinder and stuff like that is you swipe, you decide, like you're allowed to be selective.
Mm-hmm.
And as a guy, dude, if God forbid y'all ever end up back in the dating scene, because here's exactly how it happens every time. The first few, you kind of like, you kind of go back. After like 5 or 6, you just say screw it. You just swipe right on everyone because your chances are so low. So you just go right on everyone and then pick from who swipes back matches on you. Because like that's the whole thing. Because like, and then there's data on this too. Like basically all the girls are swiping on guys who are 9s and 10s. And then, like, the guys are basically swiping on anyone that's, like, basically above a 5 or a 4 even. So, like, there's like, an uneven playing field. So that's why the guys just swipe on everyone and then pick from there. Because, like, I don't know, man. And then, like, they gamify them and they send you messages. Like, I don't know why I just don't delete them. Because they piss me off. I get on there and I lose faith in humanity. And I leave it alone for a month and I get back on there and I'm like, it's the same. It's like people with nothing to offer want everything. I'm like, I'm not saying I have everything to offer. I'm just saying, like, let's have a fair trade here. Fair trade. Have a job.
Yeah.
How about we have a job? Don't put psychotic, like don't you know what I mean? They'll put like all this stuff in their bio about how psycho they are, and that's like, this is not attractive. Or like,
I mean, maybe someone they need it. I don't know, dude. I mean, there's like yeah. I don't know, bro. I think you'd have a better chance in person, which is, I guess, even harder because COVID. But like,
no.
Well, I guess not so much now, but like the last year. But I don't know. That to me would just be, you would have a more genuine interaction, and you would be able to read their mannerisms and everything.
In person is much easier, but the weird thing is like, it's like, as soon as I get the number, I kind of don't care. I'm like, I don't know. It's weird. It's like, what's even the goal? Because I get the number. Because to me, it's like, it's like a kickflip. It's like, all right, I did it again. All right, whatever. Like, it's just kind of like, what? But then after that,
it's because you're going to go on first base, bro.
To me, if you got the number, you're just
doing the rep to know you could do it. You're not doing it to actually test yourself. Like, you're not trying for anything more.
That's why you hate Tinder. You already get the number ASAP, or the message or whatever.
But then it turns into the dating game, like Clayton brought up at the beginning. Is like, okay, cool, flake on the first one, always happens. The second one is the actual date, and it's like immediately it turns into like this whole thing in my mind of like why are you even chasing this? Like, why? What is the point of this cat and mouse game? Like, there's so much better to do.
I don't know, bro, because like I'm on the opposite foot, man. I played the cat and mouse game. It worked out for me. Apparently, I'm very good at being a cat.
I'm just like, I just, as soon as the game starts, I'm like, I'm not interested. I'm already not interested. It happens again.
Bro, it just makes.
I mean, I guess eventually you'll find one that you, I guess, want to pursue. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, if you're looking at them and you're like, man, this fucking sucks, you might as well just get up and walk away while you're talking.
I don't know.
Seriously, wasting your time. But like, if you're like, yeah, maybe I want to talk to this person in my free time, then maybe you should take the time.
I just feel like online dating is just, it's different. It is hookups. That's it. Like, because, like, let's be honest, I met mine in person, you met yours in person. Like, I feel like if Devin actually is trying to find a meaningful relationship, he can go out there and do it. It's just going to be in person. It's not going to be through the medium of the internet.
You know what's funny, though, is I met her in person and, like, as a customer and, like, always helped her and, like, flirted with her and stuff. But then I came across her on Tinder, and that's how I knew. I was like, oh, she's single. And I swiped right, and that's how we started, like, messaging or whatever through the phone. It was really funny. Like, I always talked in person, but I was like, I don't know. And then I saw her on there. I was like, oh, for some reason in my head, I was like, that's the green flag.
I almost wonder if it's because of the simple fact of, like, her being a customer. You don't know if it's that she's too nice to not do it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you have that area in doubt in the back of your mind. Whereas, like, okay, it is a website. Like, she does not have to worry about making things awkward by saying no here.
It's completely,
because in her mind, she's thinking you're just going through these. You may not even recognize that it's her.
I didn't recognize. Oh, I just accidentally swiped that.
No, I'm not saying. I'm not saying who that. Like, I'm not saying it's that. But what I'm saying is, like, she can disillusion it and put it out there. Like, if I say no, it wouldn't be awkward. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
and I just move on.
Well, the in-person, it's the dynamic of the work, because if you were the one behind the counter, you can't pursue. You can. It's just extremely weird because, like, I don't know. I picture like a GameStop. If the cashier's hitting on a chick and gets turned down, he's got to stand there in his misery. Like
he can't run from the problem. He can't just be like, I'm taking my lunch break now.
If the woman was behind the counter and he was the customer and was like, hey, he gets turned down, whatever, let's finish this up. He walks up. It's something about the dynamic of the work thing is like, you know, because like when I was a waiter, I didn't like try to get girls' numbers as a waiter because it just looks bad. It looks trashy. But you know what I mean? Like, if I'm out in the restaurant, it's the dynamic changes. So it's that.
I see what you're saying.
It's the implication. They have to come back to your table.
The implication.
Just like Always Sunny in Philadelphia. The boat is the implication.
Dennis, are you trying to get these girls drunk so you can rape them? And he's like, no, of course not. I'm just trying to get them to join us on a boat. We're going to have a couple drinks. We're going to be out in the middle of the ocean. They're going to get sleepy. It's just the implications, man. Come on, Mac.
Dude, that show is great, dude. I just love the fact that there's like nothing good about these people, and every time you start to see a glimmer of it, they just smash it into the dirt, bro.
Dude, they do some horrible things, and I think that's why I've enjoyed it. So I'm like on season 5, but watching the humor, I know it's a little bit older. I'm not sure when it started, but just the first episode, like they don't leave stuff off the table. They're very much like you can get mad. We're gonna say what we say or do what we do.
Oh, dude, have you gotten to the one where they make Charlie's mom and the other one live together, and they try to film it and turn it into a reality TV show, and they're messing with soundtracks? No. Dude, it is hilarious, bro. You will love that episode.
I saw one where Mac was with Charlie's mom or Dennis. I think it was Dennis. Yeah.
What's funny is
it Mac?
They get Charlie and Mac's mom to live together. It's great, dude. It's great. Dude, it is such a good show. I know Devin doesn't watch TV, so he probably is like completely zoned out. But bro, it is so good.
It's a good show. It's pretty funny. You might like the humor on that show, Devin.
Dude, for sure that would be a show that would suck him in. But that's Devin, though. Devin, like, even though there's good content out there, he won't do it because he labels it as non-productive.
Well,
it's not necessarily non-productive, because I consume non-productive. A podcast consuming is non-productive. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's for me with TV shows, it's hard to find one that I'm like, all right, I can get in on this. Like, I don't know. To me, Rick and Morty, I'll watch an episode of that because I don't know. But it's probably, I can't explain it. I can't explain it. It's also because I've seen episodes before, so there's like the pre-bias and the pre-introduction to it. Like, I know this is going to be good. I kind of know what I'm getting into. Because, like, there's like, dude, I've watched like 3 2-hour podcasts from the 9 Club already. They're just, but that's up my alley, and it's all entertainment.
Dude, I don't know. Really I feel like you would love It's Always Sunny, bro. I feel like you would love this.
The one of the scenes that made me think of y'all's style of humor and our other buddies was when Charlie, he like gets approached by a woman or whatever, and she's like, yeah, this is your child, and he's like 10 years old, and he's like sitting at the bar. It's like, I found out I had a kid today. And they're like, oh my God. And he's like, yeah, she like wants me to come spend time with it and see it and stuff. And she's like, what are you gonna do? I don't know. It's like, I wish I could just travel back in time, She's like, so you could be there for him and raise him. He's like, no, so I could get an abortion.
Yeah, dude. Dude, it is great. Oh, so good. Like I
was like,
oh,
it's good, dude. It's good, bro.
The America episode where they do the wrestling.
I don't know if I've seen that one,
dude. It's like in the first 2 seasons. It's when you're first introduced to like the priest.
Oh, the priest that they like destroy his life.
Yes,
every
dude.
season. Like perfectly good man that turned into a homeless crack addict. Like Daryl loses his wife and children.
Dude, such a good show, bro. Oh God. Well, bros, do y'all have anything else y'all want to discuss, or y'all think we're good?
I don't got nothing, dog.
All right.
Man. So no, I mean it's good.
All right. This has been Nobody Named Kevin podcast, episode 19. Am I right? 19?
19.
All right. Where can they find us, Q?
At Nobody Named Kevin podcast on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram.
All right. Well, this has been Nobody Named Kevin. Thank you for listening.